And it is 2 o'clock, so I think we should probably begin. So if I may declare this meeting open. Item 1 is membership and terms of reference for the board. Mike, do you want to make a very quick comment? And then I got a couple of things I want to say.
I think this is just the standard report that sets the scene in terms of, as you say, the membership and the current terms of reference that you have. Board members will also see attached as the appendix is the succession plan, where we sort of keep track of people's term on the board. So it's just really for noting, unless people want to make any comments.
Okay, and if I could just add 2 very quick things to that, kind of related to this. One is that, as you know, we give kind of lead responsibility for various items to various people. And normally I'd give Kevin, who's just come on board, 6 months, 9 months, just to work his way in. But knowing that he knows the fund, he's kindly agreed to take responsibility together with Carl for the risk register. And the second thing is that Tony, I think, Tony, do you want to say what's happening, Tony, here?
Yeah. Well, as people may know, or if they've been on the group for a while, I'm the Director of Adult Services for the County Council, and I'm here as the employer representative. And in my role as director, I am actually leaving the authority around January into retirement or semi-retirement, or who knows what, but I'll certainly not be in that post from sometime in January, not quite determining my final date. So obviously at that point, I'll no longer be able to fulfil that role for the County Council, and it will need to decide who to appoint in my place.
Okay, we have a succession plan which we agreed in January, so I think all is in order. I just wanted to make sure, I think Tony wanted to make sure we all knew. Item 2, apologies. Does anybody, I've been given no apologies. I think everybody's present, aren't they? We have Alan Schofield and Ruth Lowry attending, and I understand that Eddie Pope, the Councillor Pope from the chair of the Pension Fund Committee, is also going to attend, but I can't see him on the call yet. Item 3, disclosure of pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests. Does anybody wish to make a disclosure? No, good. Okay, item 4 is minutes of the meetings held in April, and we also just need to confirm January's meetings, as we weren't prepared to approve those in April. Does anybody have any comments about the April minutes as presented? Are we happy to approve them then?
Yes.
Okay, super, thank you. In which case, I think we, by association, we are happy to confirm the January meetings too, January meeting minutes too. Yep. Okay, super.
All right, thank you.
Right. Good. Item 5 is the breaches report, and I think you're going to present this, aren't you?
Yes, I'm sorry, you broke up there with him, but yeah, that just heard my name there. Do you want me to present this? Yeah.
You're fairly faint, Mukhtar, so please speak up or go closer to the computer or whatever's needed, or turn the volume up, whatever's needed.
Yes, I've got my headphones on. Can everybody hear me okay? So, yeah, okay, that's fine. Breaches report, just the standard breaches report. I'm going to just try and get this a bit larger so I can see it. In terms of the contributions, what you can see is that, again, for this particular quarter,
I can't see anything. Are we meant to be seeing something on the screen, Mukhtar?
I wasn't. Is anybody presenting the papers? Or?
No, they're not. I think we have to. Catherine, I think we have to look at the actual report.
Fine. Sorry,
I
thought he was referring to something on the screen. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to share, I can share if you want to.
No, I think I'd rather carry on unless somebody really wants you to share.
That's fine. The first part of the report is around contributions that we get from employers. Again, we've not had any breaches, and you'll see for this particular quarter that we reported, which is quarter 4, January to March 2021, we have had no breaches, and we've had 45 incidents, incidents are part of our system we've developed to ensure that we don't have breaches, and we manage contributions and the receipts of contributions.
Mukhtar, you must bring your mouth, sorry, closer to the computer, because you're fading in and out, I'm afraid.
I do apologise. We've not had any breaches, and we've had 45 incidents, which is less than we've had for previous quarters as well. Data breaches, I can just tell, if I could just tell you in terms of data breaches and administration breaches, because of the timings of the meetings, the data is only up to the 21st of June 2021, so it's not the full quarter. But based on the quarter of data that we had 4 data breaches. You can see them in the table there, which is again certainly a reduction from last quarter when we had 8 data breaches. And in terms of administration breaches, we just had 1 administration breach, which was in April, when an incorrect early leaver estimate was created and sent to the wrong member, so and an apology was sent out for that. So that's the report for breaches, William.
Good. Thank you indeed, Mukhtar. Are we happy to, so are there any questions first of all? Deborah, you've got a question, and Matthew, you've got a question. Deborah first, please.
Yeah, just a couple of questions for Mukhtar. Firstly, obviously, thank you for the report. At the previous meeting, as noted in the minutes, we requested details of the contribution breaches just to see if there was a pattern, if it was the same employers each time. I don't know if you know where we're up to with that.
Yeah, what Yvonne had asked. Is Yvonne in the meeting? Is she here? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here, Mukhtar. Yes, it was me that asked for it.
Yeah, Yvonne had requested to know whether there had been any repeat offenders. I think that's the word term you use, Yvonne, isn't it, in terms of contributions? And we looked at the data, and I've reported back to Yvonne, and there wasn't any. And we do have systems where we do pick up anything fairly quickly, and hence it doesn't go into kind of being repeat offenders there.
That's super, thank you. And then on the we're talking about the data breaches. Again, at the last meeting, it was suggested that the administrators would have data protection training. Do you know if that happened?
Deborah, I don't. I would presume they have done, because I think Janet had attended from LPP, and she said that. I'll presume that they have, but I will double check and get back to you on that one.
That's lovely. Thank you, Mukhtar. Thanks, William.
Matthew.
Well, thank you. I was just interested in the table with the incidents for the quarter 2, 3, 4 and 1. Now, for quarter 1, there's obviously only 2 months worth of data, but I'm interested. Well, given that there's 45 incidents there, would it be reasonable to project that you might then have oh no, actually no, I've misread the table. Actually no, my question, okay, not to worry, I'm quite happy.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. Could you just lower your hand, please, afterwards? I'm not sure I can do it for you. Thank you very much. So are we happy to note the breaches report? Yep. Okay, super. Item 6 is a regulatory update, and given we've got a lot of data through, I'd keep the report just very highlights only, please. We can ask questions later.
Yeah, I'll do that for you. Obviously, I'm doing it on behalf of Colin, so if I'll just give you as quick an update as you can. I mean, obviously, it's fairly complicated, is the regulatory update. First of all, we have an update on the restricting exit payments in the public sector for the 95.
You're breaking up, I'm sorry. Can you come closer again?
I've got the... Is that... are other people hearing me, or I'm holding the mic in front of my mouth?
Oh, that's better.
Is that better? Right, okay. So exit payments in the public sector, 95k cap. This was brought in and it was revoked, and it's now back on the agenda. A lot of data was requested from employers. This data has been provided by employers, and hence we should be getting something through later in the year in relation to the 95k cap. Not sure whether they're going to keep it at the 95k or whether it's going to be index linked to what, but we'll find out later on in the year. The 2020 LGPS scheme annual report that was published for this year, for 2020, it was published on the 18th of May of this year. There were some key highlights, and as William's asked me not to go through too much of this, I'm hoping that you've had a chance to look at some of the key highlights from the report, but you will find a link in the section which will give you all the information about what came out of this the report itself. McLeod, the latest on McLeod, we now have a statement from central government on the 13th of May 2021, which was by Luke Hall, who's a Minister for the Regional Growth and Local Government. The statement reiterates their intentions and exactly where the underpin applies. This for us in terms of LPP will mean a lot of work for LPP, but we are expecting draft guidance regulations by the end of the year in relation to McLeod. Pension scams, the DWP, Department of Work and Pensions, carried out a consultation proposing new requirements for trustees and scheme managers before a pension transfer can be completed. I mean, it's probably fair to say for us that LPP already have stringent processes in place to ensure that transfers are carried out and they're not being made to dodgy pension schemes. The additional requirements that have been stipulated will only just kind of strengthen our processes that we have currently within the LGPS. So that kind of gives you a summary of this particular consultation that ended on the 10th of June. The High Court ruling judgment on exit credits. The ruling was in relation to a scheme employer against MHCLG. The ruling was found in favour of MHCLG. Exit credits were introduced into the scheme in 2018 and allowed for a surplus on termination to be refunded to the employer in certain situations. The key point to note for the fund is that we have a robust policy in place in relation to potential exit credits, and to date we've only had to pay one surplus so far. Finally, the section on the cost control review report that's been published. Cost control happens after every evaluation, and the government actually has carried out a review. What the cost control meant was that if the cost of the scheme increased by 2%, then they would look at reviewing the benefit structure to reduce the costs by 2%. However, in 2016, what happened was that the costs actually reduced by 2% rather than increased, which was not anticipated. Based on this reduction, they would have needed to have looked to increase the benefit structure, but that never happened because of McLeod. And all this, the whole process is currently, again, being reviewed again. Okay, William, that kind of summarises the key highlights of the report.
Okay, thank you very much, Mukhtar. Yvonne and Steve, I think this is your area. I'd like you to kind of comment, lead the conversation, lead any kind of comment on that, please.
The only comment for me, William, is regarding the exit payments. There was quite a controversial, was it MHCLG survey done a few months ago, and the outcome of that was published only a few days ago across the local government sector. So it produced some very sort of staggering figures in terms of exit payments across the sector. Whether the press and media will drill down to individual local authorities, I don't know. But I don't know the purpose of that. Is it just to stir up the issue around exit payments above 95k and how much is spent across the sector. I don't know, but the longer this is delayed, the better, I think, for all concerned.
It's gone on for a long time, hasn't it? Yeah.
Good. Yvonne, did you want to do anything you wanted to add?
No, just like Steve, we, as an authority, we've submitted our data, as mentioned there in the update. And I mean, the only other comment was to do with McLeod. I appreciate it's going to be a lot of work for LPPA, to carry out all these underpins for, much further extended membership. But I think that is much more preferable than what the unfunded schemes are going to have to go through with. I do a lot with teachers' pensions, and the implications of McLeod, as an employer that employs teachers for teachers' pensions and those other unfunded schemes, the NHS as well, it's much wider repercussions and things that need to be considered and dealt with. And I just think LPPA are in a good position because we've collected, LPPA have collected monthly data from employers since 2014, so they are in a good position with data as opposed to some other funds that have only done the annual update. So I'm not unduly concerned about it, but I appreciate it will be work. But that was all.
Good, thank you very much. Are there any other questions about item 6? Yeah, Deborah.
It's just a quick query on the pension scams. Obviously a very positive move to protect members, and it does place an awful lot of responsibility on members to actually prove that where the money's going is to the right place. And so will that requirement be made known to new members joining the scheme? So if you decide that you want to transfer out, you will have to prove, for example, residency in the same financial jurisdiction. Or is it just something that will be expected without people actually signing up to it?
I don't know is the answer to the question, Deborah. It probably
in which case, Mukhtar, maybe ask Colin or Colin to come back when you find out.
Will do, yeah, that's fine.
That'd be great, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on item 6? No, are we happy to note the regulatory update? Okay, super, thank you. Item 7 is feedback from members of the board on pension-related training. I'll very quickly, if I may, just go round the room. Just starting off, Yvonne? Nope.
No, nothing from me. I don't think there've been any workshops recently, have there? So
okay, could be quick then, couldn't it?
Yep.
Matthew?
I wasn't going to say anything. I noticed on the minutes that it's got the fact that I was at the Audit, Risk and Governance Committee virtual training session, which was a perfectly interesting and useful training session, although I can't think of any enlightening things to pull out for the Pensions Board. But yeah, certainly I'll look for training sessions when as they come up.
Super. Tony?
Nothing for me.
Yep. Deborah?
Yes, I attended the workshop that Matthew's just referred to. Well, I listened to it afterwards, and the same with the new members induction, which I found extremely helpful.
Good. Steve?
No, nothing from me, William.
Yep. Catherine? Catherine, you're muted, I'm afraid.
Sorry, I was trying to eliminate background noise. I don't think I've attended any since our last board meeting.
Thank you. Carl?
No, nothing from me, William.
Kevin?
Pass.
No, not even any new members induction? No, okay. I did attend one thing. I attended the PLSA conference, which was on Zoom. And this is the kind of the biggest event of the LGPS year. Is usually great for networking because you always get people there. Didn't work, and the subject was on sustainable investment and lots of good presentations, but actually one goes there to meet people and it doesn't work quite as well on Zoom, and that's really my feedback from that. Anything else on training? Nope. Okay. Can we just note the feedback there? So item 8 is the part 1 reports presented to the Pension Fund Committee meeting on the 18th of June. And Sean, I think you're going to present this.
Yes, thanks, Chair. I was going to pick up on 3 key updates, but if there's any questions on other papers, please feel free to shout up. First, the annual governance statement was reviewed and approved by the Pension Fund Committee. So this is a review of the governance arrangements for the year 2021. And that'll now go into the report and accounts for Lancashire County Council. And this year we're aggregating it together with the equivalent statement of the council. So there'll be a single statement, and that's in line with SIP for guidance. We also looked at the admission and termination and intervaluation review policies. So last time they were brought to the board, this was ahead of them going out to consultation with employers. That consultation happened in the course of May, and we didn't actually get any responses from employers. So the policies have gone through and will have been updated on our website. And then one of the other items that we looked at was the budget. We did note an adverse variance, and this was because of lower than expected investment income and higher than expected investment fees. The paper went into a bit of detail to explain those variances, but the main thing to note is that the lower than expected investment income was as a result of the economic impact of the pandemic, and it was slightly aggravated in the last quarter of the year because there was a receipt regarding the infrastructure pool, which was actually received after the year end, so that'll fall into this year end. And then investment costs had increased, and that is primarily because they're based on asset values. You'll have seen in the report that the asset values went up from 8.4 billion to 9.5 billion, hence an impact on fees.
Good, thank you, Sean. Are there any questions about any of the reports there which members wish to raise?
Just one for me, William. Sorry, I can't quite control where my hand goes. It does say in relation to the governance assurance, which is part of those papers, that there's been a request from the Pensions Committee to review the governance arrangements and compare with those of other pension funds. Is that an accurate summary of what they'd requested? I think it is.
Yeah, so this came up in the discussion about the annual governance statement, and the piece of feedback that we got from one of the members of the committee was it would be good to understand what other funds, what activities under other funds undertake in this area. In fact, not all funds actually produce a statement like this, but we did take it away that we'd look at that next year, and we were mindful as well that there's broader changes that are being discussed in the governance area, and we might in some way take them into account when we produce the statement next year. So that's a piece of work for us to take away ahead of next March, June time.
Okay. I mean, I suppose my only comment in relation to that was obviously it looks very similar, the statement, as to the one I saw last year and possibly the year before. And sometimes it's difficult to know with the limited perspective I have on something like this, whether that is as good as it gets, and obviously it's very reassuring in all cases. But I think it's a good thing to find out if there are places that have put some other arrangements in place which are even stronger than what we've got now. But obviously there'll be colleagues who may have a different slant on that. I don't know if Councillors Pope and Kevin would, because of your experience in these arrangements.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions about these reports? Eddie, is that your hand up? You're on mute, I'm afraid.
Yeah, only a comment really regarding Tony's comments. I mean, as we've realised from a lot of areas, you can always learn from others. So we were more than willing to go away and look at other funds and see what they come up with. I mean, hopefully, we stand up there with the best. But if we find anything, then we'll bring it back and review.
And I think my comment on that will be to echo what Eddie said, that I do see quite a lot of funds, and my sense is that Lancashire, I'm not going to say the best, but certainly in a good position relative to most other funds. And that may not be a good position in absolute terms, but certainly in relative terms, we're in quite a good position. Are there any other questions on item 8? No, okay. Are we happy just to note the reports there?
Yeah.
Yep, okay, super. Item 9 is my report for the annual report. We have to use a written resolution just to kind of agree what is to approve the recommendation to include it in the annual report. And I'm afraid I've had to make one change to it, because at the committee meeting a couple of weeks ago, it was pointed out that one thing I had written was actually inaccurate. And you'll find the change highlighted in yellow, and I think it's on page, gosh, I'm not quite sure what page, it's under activities, about the 3rd page down. I hope all members have had a chance to look at it, but if not, I can read out how I changed that wording. Is everybody happy with the rewording, or would you like me to read it out? Hands up from Deborah. Any other comments?
Sorry, could you just clarify which bit has been changed?
If you look on
it's on page 44 of the pack, Chair. Second paragraph from the bottom, it starts the separation of LPP's administration.
Sorry, I haven't turned enough pages. Sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you happy, Catherine? You're on mute, I'm afraid. Okay, thumbs up. That's a different kind of thumbs up. Good. Well, are we happy to recommend to the committee that they do include they include my report in the annual report? Yeah. Okay, right. Thank you very much indeed. We'll have to use a written resolution. Mike, can you sort that, please?
Yep, that's fine.
Right, super. Okay, thank you. Right, any urgent business? I haven't been notified of any urgent business, but if there's anything really urgent which members wish to raise, now is the time to do it. No, okay, thank you. And perhaps, Mike, it might be time to ask the LPPA representatives to join us, because I think we'll be on to item 13 within 5 minutes or so.
Okay, Mr. Crowhurst and Joe Derbyshire are in the lobby now, so I can admit them now.
Okay, fine. Item 11 is the date of the next meeting, which is the 19th of October 2021. And I really do hope this will be in person rather than virtually. Certainly the intention was to hold this meeting in person, but it just didn't seem sensible given what's been happening. Item 12, exclusion of press and public. We have to consider whether under section 100A4 of the LGA 72, we consider we should exclude the public from the meeting during consideration of the following items of business on the grounds that there will be likely disclosure of exempt information as defined by the appropriate paragraph, draw breath, in part 1 of Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act 72. Are we happy to exclude the public?
Yeah.
Super, right, thank you.